Okay, folks, it's turn 30. The armies are moving towards Fomoria. Turn 31, 32, turn 33, we should be prepared to attack. We've got almost 300 siege strength up here, including some kidneys and a whole bunch of chaff. Not actually, like, an incredible amount of chaff. We've got, like, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got, like, 130 Lobo Guard. We've got 65 of our mixed net and spear slave troopers, and then we've got our 15 kidneys. And then down here, accumulating in this province, we've got about another 100 some odd units. So overall, we're going in with, you know, upwards of 300 units, which should be able to lock this place down pretty hard. As an alternative, of course, we could always swing into Valador over here and try to hit some of these land provinces, take a little bit of that turf. But I'm thinking probably Fomoria. An Avite scout did actually attack Fomoria, or was possibly patrolled out by province defense here. He didn't have any gear, which makes me think he was just patrolled out. There's no reason he would take this fight otherwise. He just got murdered. Like, he didn't accomplish anything. In any case, we cast Dark Knowledge, didn't find anything yet. We will keep at it because I want more death gems. Speaking of which, I've actually looked up this event because unexpected event, we found the lair of the monster inside the broken belly of a sunken ship, and new trade routes have opened. But there's a kraken, a tentacle monster, hiding inside of a sunken ship. I looked up this event. There's a few ways this event branch can go. Either the end of this event is either if you have a high level water mage investigate, either you get free kraken spawns with a small chance that a kraken will attack you, but generally you get free kraken spawns, or you drive the monster away and you get a death gem site. So the death gem site would actually be really sweet for me, and that is, I think, what I'm gonna probably try to go for. I'm just gonna spawn a whole bunch of troops here and a couple of mages and kill the kraken and get the sunken galley site, which is +1 death gem per turn. I think that will be more useful than krakens, because krakens are, of course, aquatic, and so aren't really super useful. I tell a lie. There is one hilarious thing you can do with krakens, which is, let me pause 1 second so I can pull up the mod inspector just to you know, double check that I'm not wrong about this. You can actually Gift of Reason krakens, which of course I can do because I'm Relay, and when you do that, they have miscellaneous slots, so you could then theoretically give one an Amulet of the Fish. It's just not really worthwhile, I would say. Like, it's not... it's just not particularly interesting, you know? Like, krakens don't have full slots, they only have 2 miscellaneous slots. One would think they get 4 arm slots, which would be hilarious and amazing, but they don't. They only have arm slots. So, not really worth it. I wish you could effectively do that with krakens. That would be hilarious, especially if they were stealthy like the Great Kraken chassis is. The Great Kraken, the Pretender God chassis is very stealthy and has multiple arm slots and is thus amazingly fun. But in any case, so I'm just going to kill it and get the death gem. Armies rolling down towards Fomoria. Research-wise, we're about to hit Thaumaturgy level 3. Over here, I am forging a Dwarven Hammer and an Amulet of the Fish. I will then use that Dwarven Hammer. Actually, I don't... Before I forge the Dwarven Hammer, I'm going to forge the Crystal Coin. And with the Crystal Coin, I will give the Crystal Coin to Turkul, he who breathes, and he will cast the Eyes of God, which will be useful to me, and also probably not something that the enemy is going to really rush to take down. So I should be able to get some value out of it for a good long little time. I think, so these Shrouds of the Battle Saint I've been sending to Agartha, I think he's using them on Troglodyte Lords. I think that's what he's doing. I think he's blessing Troglodyte Lords to use them as, like, thugs. Which is honestly a fascinating idea. Like, I don't understand quite, but if it's working for him, then it's working for him, you know? Like, don't knock what works, I guess is what I'm saying here. But, wow, that's a strategy. I think, I sincerely think that's what he's doing. I think he's doing that. And it's hilarious. I love it. I love it. So, casting more Dark Knowledge still, trying to find some more of them sweet, sweet death sites, doing our research. Over here, we're not recruiting any more aquatic troops, because of course we now have that non-aggression pact with Therodos, but we are still pumping out mages. I think this turn we're actually recruiting a mage from every fort. I'm still fishing for a little bit more water fire crosspath with Amber Clan mages, so I can maybe get some, like, green lions or something. I don't know. I don't think... green lions might not be amphibious. Getting Mind Lords. Getting lots and lots and lots of slave mages. Don't really want to spend money recruiting aboleths right now. I could potentially recruit aboleths once I have more amulets of the fish built up, but I'll need more of them. And honestly, aboleths only get one path over slave mages. I mean, it's a fairly cheap path. Like, it's only 40 gold for that extra path, but... plus their randoms are different. They can random death instead of nature. That's the difference. But I just don't really need that right now. I think I'll just stick to the Mind Lords for the moment. I may pump out a few more aboleths a little bit later, but we'll see where we go from there. And you could do with moving down here. We've got our priest preaching down here. I'd love to build that other temple that I keep talking about. I just haven't yet. I could actually build a temple in both of these spots. So why don't tell you what, Zothaquoth, yeah, you stay there preaching. You need to move over here and preach. Actually, that's Goal's domain. That's fine. Move back here and build that temple in Boat Eater, which will push my Dominion spread chance up. Oh no, I already have 5 temples. Where did I build a 5th temple? Ah, that's right. I built a 5th temple here in Sinextro. That's right. And I'm claiming the throne. Okay, so we are recruiting Androdai, which is great. We've achieved our foothold on the above ground world. Unfortunately, it's a super lame foothold, and we can't actually recruit Androleths here, except very, 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 very slowly. But hey, it's a start. Today, this fort, tomorrow, the world. The Androdai gives us a astral, something or other, amphibious mage. He is insane, unfortunately, but we can, of course, mind jack them with Mind Lords, and use them to get some high-level astral up on land without having to send the Mind Lords themselves, without having to risk the Mind Lords themselves. That's the big thing. So we'll see how that all works out for us. I think it should be pretty good. Once we have a couple Androleths, I'm going to start ferrying the Androdai down here to Lake Vastness, where I will have my Mind Lords consume their brains and give them Astral 4 or Astral 5 or whatever I can give them. Astral 4 usually. And then send them back up, and hopefully we should get 1 or 2 of them to join the war in Fomoria. This does remind me that I need to send some pearls, as well as the water gems, so that we can cast anti-magic and similar astral buffs. There we go. Send 18 pearls. That still leaves me with 100, it's fine. And that, I think, will be the turn. I think that's all we really need to talk about right now. It does look like Niefelheim is kind of getting kicked in by Fomoria, which is great, because it means that Fomorian army is way over here. The enemy has recruited another Fomorian king. And of course, I don't know where their Numidian sorceresses are, but I would anticipate there are Numidian sorceresses with this army. So, beyond that, he doesn't actually seem to be recruiting many mages. He's recruiting horticulturists here. I don't see any mages over here. This is all Wolf Tribe warriors, which is a very interesting choice. And over here, of course, everything's invisible, so I assume it's elves. He is moving his Furbolg in, so I think he has correctly guessed what's about to happen. He sees the oceans teeming with the onrushing hordes of Relay, and he is preparing his defense against said hordes. So, fair play to you, and we'll see, may the best fish win. So, thanks for watching. I'll see y'all in turn 31. Okay, turn 31. No territorial changes this turn. I did find the Fields of Glowing Algae in Nuptia, which gives me a nature gem. Fantastic. Nature income expanding. Nature income must expand. Relay must grow larger, as they say. Fulber over here now has a hammer and boots, and he is going to start forging more crystal coins. In fact, I think I might set him to month. I'm not going to set him to monthly. I'm just going to have him forge a crystal coin. Turkul has a crystal coin, boosting him up to Astral 5. He is going to cast the Eyes of God just at base level. He doesn't have to overwrite anything, and it's okay if someone dispels it. The Eyes of God is not something I need to hang my hat on having up constantly, but being able to pop it up and take a look at the graphs every now and then is useful, in my opinion. So we've hit Thaumaturgy level 3, researching down to level 4. We've claimed the High Throne. Didn't find any death sites, unfortunately. In the Endless Ocean, we found the lair of a sea serpent, so a little bit of gold and a number of gems. Fantastic. In Nuptia, we got Unrest and Pop Loss. Nuptia is just not great. Boat Eater also has had a few negative events now, although they have had that the Sea Monster event, which Iken has Brains, is now attacking. He's going to be summoning water elementals, which should beat up a Kraken very easily, and for that matter, this many troops should kill a Kraken as well. Kraken, however you want to pronounce it. That thing, what we found. My armies are converging on Fomoria. We've got our gems all set up, ready to go. We also have... We've got Foul Vapors, and we've got Poison Ward, so we've got our strategy active. We also have Anti-Magic, and in Thaumaturgy, we do have Teleport and... not Teleport, what am I saying? We have Mind Burn, and we also have Panic. Panic can be a very useful spell, less so on Undead, but on Elite Troops, Panic can be great because it lowers morale, and lets you, when you force morale checks, then they're much more likely to fail them, which is pretty fantastic. We also have Sailor's Death. Sailor's Death is a spell that we can spam. It is effectively an AoE 1 Soul Slay, or it's an AoE 1 overpowered Mind Burn, because it does 14 armor negating damage. It is negated by magic resistance, and it can't be cast underwater, but when we're on land, Sailor's Death is a pretty decent spell, just because if you hit a human with it, and they fail their magic resistance check, they're almost certainly going to die. Same goes for elves, actually. As we'll move down, we will get Paralyze. We will also get Rage of the Cornered Rats, not relevant to us. Touch of Madness, not super relevant to us. None of these are really relevant. It's at level 5 where we start to get, like, we get Soul Slay, we get Enslave Sea Trolls, and we get Growing Fury, which we can potentially cast, as well as the Ravenous Swarm and Gateway, which lets us move large numbers of troops between labs for a cost of pearls. I wish I had more pearls. I've searched the whole ocean up to at least level 2 Astral and still haven't found many pearls. Water Gem income, looking good. Earth Gem income, okay. Death Nature could be better. Pearls could definitely be better. Overall, my gem income is fine. I just wish more of it was Astral Pearls. Now, there are some fairly common Astral level 3 sites and such, I believe. So I think this guy, who I haven't renamed, this guy actually has an Earth Path. So he's my first real, like, teleport thug, Mind Lord. I'm not sure what stupid old meme I should name him after, though. While I'm thinking about it, I'm gonna set him to cast... He can't cast it. Damn. I don't have that... I don't have the Astral remote site search spell researched yet. What path is that, then? Oh, that's right, it's Evocation level 3, Arcane Probing. I do need some Evocation at some point, but let's hit Thaumaturgy level 5 first. I'm gonna set him while we're waiting to summon Clayman, I think. He'll get 6 per 5 water gems. No, I don't want to spend water gems on that yet. We'll just wait for now. He's just going to research for the moment. And we also have Tuxa, our first Androdai. We've got another Androdai coming. Tuxa is going to move underwater. He's going to head down here, and all your troops that belong to us is going to Mind Vessel him. So, should be great. And we've got troops moving on up to Fomoria. More troops collapsing down on Fomoria in 2 turns. We should be on top of Fomoria with, what's that, 285, and over here we've got 211, so a little under 500 siege strength. It will take us 2 turns to crack, but that should be fine. These troops have actually stayed here since last turn. I'm not sure where they're going. I would imagine they're going to duck into Fomoria. He does have 2 Fomorian kings, so he may be planning to try and HP route me by destroying my chaff. If that is what he's planning, which is, you know, a perfectly fair thing to plan that way. It will be up to me to disappoint him by virtue of dropping the Foul Vapors and the Water Elementals. Now, it would probably be a good idea to have these troops somewhat scripted. Communion Master, Water Elementals. You're scripted to summon lesser Water Elementals, but you don't need to do that. Instead, you can be Communion Master first. Communion Master, and then I don't want you to spoil the surprise, as it were, early. So why don't you just Communion Master, Twist Fate, Eagle Eyes, Barkskin, Personal Luck, and all on conservative magic gem usage, because I don't think I'll need my nature gems to beat him if he sallies. And you guys, you're a Communion Slave, you're a Master, summoning Water Elementals, you're a Slave, Master, Master, Slave, Slave. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 Communion Slaves. I'm actually going to set up... How many mages do I have total? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 8 masters with only 4 Communion Slaves. That's cruising for disaster. So let's get you, Ulugbeg. You'll be a Communion Master who will also drop Power of the Spheres. That's fine, and then summon Water Elementals. You, however, you'll be a Slave. And I want you to be a Master. You can be a Slave. And you can drop... I don't have any alteration, so I don't have the good astral... I'm sorry, I don't have the good earth defensive spells yet. But you can drop, anti-magic. And for that, we will shift some astral pearls over to... Was it Shu or Houndor? It was Shu. So Shu needs some astral pearls for his anti-magic. Okay, that'll be fine. Great. And then actually, I'll tell you what. I need Tuxa to bring more gems. More pearls. And bring some more nature gems. Why the hell not? Tuxa, just follow the army. And get him some support there. This army, meanwhile, I think isn't hardly scripted, actually. What was my Water Elemental script? That was my Water Elemental script. Your Communion Master... You're a Slave, definitely, because you have Water 3. You're a Slave. I need at least 4. You can be a Slave. You can be a Slave. You can be a Slave. So now we're up to 5. You can also be a Slave. 3, 4, 5. Wait, I thought 6. Yeah, I have 6 Communion Slaves. Out of how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 6 out of 14. I think that will work. Not going to script the mages yet, but just conservative gem usage cast spells will be fine. You're summoning Water Elementals. You can summon Water Elementals. And let's redistribute the gems away from the Communion Slaves to the Communion Masters. Real quick. God, you see why I don't like Communions. They're such a pain in the neck to deal with sometimes. You can summon Water Elementals, that'll be fine. I guess you can also summon Water Elementals. Okay. Grand. Sounds good. You can hold an attack. And we'll get the blobs set up. We're not poisoning people underwater, because Foul Vapors, I think, doesn't work underwater. So you can hold an attack. Hold an attack. Hold an attack. I think this side of the army doesn't actually have any Astral Pearls, which is a bit of an oversight on my part. Yeah, they don't have any pearls. So, you have map move 18, you have map move 16. It's really unfortunate that every province underwater takes 10 points to move through. Really very sad. Shakilatuda, take... You're a Triton. Damn it, you can't even go above ground. Alright, Shagath... I can't pronounce that name. Take some pearls and another couple water gems. Follow the army downtown. And we'll join up at Fomoria. Alright, so I think that's the turn. For turn 31, nothing else really interesting is happening. I'm recruiting yet another Mind Lord. Really focusing on pumping my income into Mind Lords here. We've got the other Tuxa up here is just kind of chilling out. Onagai is preaching. Zothakwath is moving back there. I don't need that. I need you to just sit here and preach for a second. I'd like to get a temple going in one or both of these places. One or all of these places, actually. Just to make sure that Therodos can't dom push me. Underhome, fortunately, has no Dominion in it now, which is great. Endless Ocean has got my Dominion in it, but the Darks needs to have Fond Memories Dominion pushed out. And that will take a little bit of doing. Definitely need to get a couple more temples up, but I just don't have the money for it right now. So, thanks for watching. See y'all in turn 32. Okay, folks, turn 32, and this turn I cast the Eyes of God. So look at that. Every province filled in. Eyes of God is nice. Often it's not worth the cost, in my opinion, but hey, with the Water Solstice over here, yeah, absolutely. So, we've cast the Eyes of God. We can now see every province in the game. We cannot see troops, except in our own dominion, of course, but we can see magic sites. Tuxa needs to be moving up this way by the by. Our armies are collapsing on Fomoria, but mostly what's interesting is looking at how the territory is distributed in the game right now. So, Helheim is doing quite well. Helheim has taken the Throne of the Stars. He's also got... That's weird. Where's Helheim's capital, actually? Helheim's capital is right here, with Helhala and I can't pronounce that. Nipahelen, or something. So he has not expanded south hardly at all, but he's expanded a long way north, and in particular he's eaten almost all of Arcoscephale. However, it looks like his army has moved away, potentially from Arcoscephale itself. Possibly he lost a battle, or maybe he's just moving away. He also has raided a province up here, so that's nice. Up here we can see there's a Well of Pestilence. Death sites are something I'm definitely looking for, as are astral sites. Lake of Reflected Time and Plain of Perpetual Drought, that would be a great province there. Lava Lake is a good province. This is a good province. Over here we can see Agartha is doing pretty well with his Hellbless strategy. I'm still a little bit curious as to why he has these single Troglodyte Lords besieging here. He may have moved his actual army over to Cliff Coast, which has the City of 1,000 Wonders, which is a great site. This means you can send commanders into the site and they have to face like random challenges, and if they survive, they can come out with money or something. Overall, I think it's mostly a trap. It'll tend to just kill your commanders outright. This is also a great province. Graveyard of the Damned is fantastic. Over here, we can see the sites Therodos is sitting on. This province right here generates 4 death gems and boosts death ritual range. That's a fantastic province. That's Earth and Nature. This is Death, Nature, Earth, and Astral, so another great province. No sites have been found, it looks like, in either of these provinces. Down here, you can see Therodos is actually being quite successful on land, which is kind of to be expected. So they've got Hall Woods and Iron Peaks. They've got both of those forts. They're besieging the Dawnland, which is the Outer Throne. The Outer Throne would be a great one for me. They have Pergami down here, and they are besieging Utenshire, and they've also taken Ba'ankish, and they are besieging Lomark, which has a great iron mine that gives 100 resources, which is pretty neat. Over here, we've got an Enchanted Gate. Azamar is another great province. Canyon of Wild Winds, Crystal Garden, Gem Deposits for extra gold, and the Smoldering Maze, so 4 gems, plus a Fire Ritual range booster. Caelum seems to be in some trouble, just because they're being attacked on multiple fronts. They're definitely being attacked by and of course Therodos. I don't know if they're fighting Fomoria. I kind of doubt it. And I don't know if they're fighting Tianchi. They may be. Over here, Hinnom also seems to be in trouble. Hinnom is getting pressed hard by Agartha. Agartha actually posted in the Discord a battle that he won against Hinnom that was actually fairly one-sided. He only lost 1 of his Seal Guard. And he may also be under pressure from Rus. I'm not sure. I think the Rus Ulm War may have petered out. I haven't seen anything about it for some time. Ulm does have sages, by the by. He's been recruiting sages from this library here. And he also has, beyond that, he hasn't done a whole lot of site searching. I'm a little bit surprised, actually, that Ulm has done so little site searching. But he's doing fine, though. He's doing okay. If I was him, I would be seriously worried about Helheim, though, because Helheimish elf troops backed up by death magic can really do a number to Ulmish units. Pangaea is expanding, and if we look at the graphs, which we can look at here, we can look at the province graph. we can see that, so Tir Na is out. Relay, I'm kind of in the middle of the pack. Sort of at the upper half of the middle, but still the middle here. I'm below Caelum, who has not yet lost provinces. They've still been growing very, very slowly through their wars. But Pangaea is really starting to accelerate. And up here we've got Agartha right up at the top. Agartha has a lot of provinces and is doing very well. And then we have Therodos has just spiked a little bit, but otherwise been fairly flat for some time. That other one up at the top is... I don't know what that other gray line is. Who's that? It's not Agartha. I think that's... yes, that's Helheim. So yeah, Helheim and Agartha are way up at the top there. In terms of forts, Helheim is actually kind of middle of the pack. I'm higher than them. And Agartha is barely above me. In terms of income, the story is a little bit different. I'm actually very near the top in income. I'm about tied. And that's because ocean provinces tend to be fairly income heavy, for one. And for another, of course, I took fantastic scales. So my scales are pushing my income up in all these provinces. So I'm making 500 out of Relay, well over 100 out of each of my forts, and then close to 100, except for Endless Ocean, and then close to 100 out of my non-fort provinces even. The ones outside my dominion, much, much less profitable, although I'm hoping to push my dominion into Nuptia fairly soon, just because my dominion spread chance is so high. So my 10 dominion spread chances per turn are really pushing that out. I also, of course, have Sinextro, have the High Throne pushing my dominion. So doing well there. Ozumna is actually going to search for magic sites here real quick, just to see if we can find any astral sites. And yeah, should be doing okay. You two both need to be preaching here in the darks to help push Therodos' dominion out. And as I said, my armies are now collapsing on Fomoria. Fomoria fought a battle over here in Great Woods, and it was a pretty large army of Fomoria that's over here. They launched out, I think this was a gem-baiting army, with a Jade Sorceress, a Barbarian Chief, and one Gelatinous Cube. I think they were trying to bait out gems, which I'm not sure, I don't think they did. But over here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think. It's hard to tell sometimes. That's 5. Yeah, I think it's 5. 5 Nemedian Sorceresses, 2 Fomorian Kings, a small lineup of giants. I'm sorry, 3 Fomorian Kings, including Knocher the Prophet. Big ol' line of skeletons, big ol' line of Nemedian warriors, and a line of Firbolg warriors. So this, I would anticipate, is the main army of Fomoria. This is probably the majority of their capital recruitment, considering that this is 6 turns of Fomorian Kings and then 5 turns of Nemedian Sorceresses, plus this is probably 5 or 6 turns worth of Nemedian warrior production. So this is a pretty significant Fomorian army. They're dropping Thunder Strikes, they're spamming out skeletons. It's really not a problem for them at all. They just wipe these guys out, no trouble, and I don't think they even really spent any gems doing it. So yeah, Great Woods, 136 units all told. Yeah, 39 Nemedian warriors, that's definitely about 6 turns of recruitment there. 3, 5... Oh, and 5 Fomorian Giants. 5 Fomorian Giants are probably a couple of turns by themselves. So, very, very solid and very significant army attacking Niefelheim, who is definitely on the way out. Niefelheim is in serious trouble. The fact that they haven't been able to retake any of these provinces that were taken by Fomorian raiders is a very bad sign for them. Now, of course, the fact that I'm about to crash in on Fomoria's capital is a good sign for them, assuming, always assuming, that I win. Which I might not, but we'll see. My army is super blobbed up, and the reason they're super blobbed up is so that I can drop Foul Vapors. So we've got my Nature Mages are all throwing down Poison Wards, which will hurt my Communion quite a bit, but they're dropping a bunch of Poison Ward, and then I have all 3 of them scripted to cast Foul Vapors, just in case. Just in case they have trouble there. I've got one... I've actually got Hulud, who doesn't have any Nature Gems. Shigmelatomu Fungu. And I've got Unpronounceable the Slave Mage coming in with extra nature gems in case I need them. Azog needs to be searching for magic sites there to help find more nature sites. Over here we did attack the monster's nest in the sunken ship, and there was a battle. It hasn't triggered the event where we found the sunken galley yet, but this guy did have a Ring of Regeneration for some reason. He just happened to have a Ring of Regeneration, so... it looks like... Interesting. It looks like the Slave Prince actually attacked. Why wasn't it... Wait. Icon has brains. Huh. Oh, it was my patrolling Triton commander who got it tripped. That's weird. That's weird. Okay, well, fair enough. So we killed a Kraken. But it wasn't actually Icon has brains who fought it. That's very strange. Okay, that's fine. Whatever. And over here we've got my other, my so far unnamed Mind Lord. I need to decide what I'm naming him. Hold, please. We named him O'Reilly. There we go. Alright, O'Reilly the Mind Lord is just researching for now. Once again, I don't really need to be doing anything with him at the moment. Of course, the thing to keep in mind with ocean nations especially is that ocean provinces are big. So your range, since range in dominions is measured by provinces, is deceptively fucking huge. Like, if you were in Agartha and you cast Teleport, which has a 6-province range, you could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You could go that far, right? From Relay, I can cast Teleport and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can end up on the other side of Fomoria if I cast Teleport, which is significantly further. It visually doesn't look like I should be able to get that far, but I can. I can also cast Teleport and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, cross the lake entirely, and hit Helheim on the other side. So, definitely something to keep in mind. You can do that. You can just do that, and nobody can stop you. Over here, Holber is casting Clayman, because Clayman is actually an enchantment spell, and so he can cast it very efficiently in this spot. In fact, that might be a reason to get O'Reilly over there. Let's have O'Reilly teleport, just because it's a lot faster, over to Endless Ocean. Holber, instead of researching, why don't you forge me another... Forging a Rune Smasher wouldn't be bad. Rune Smashers are really, really good for Astral Nations, especially Astral Nations that can have people with hands. I can't have many people with hands, but I do have some. And once I get my, my Abodai, not my Abodai, my Androdai. Sorry, I can never keep them straight. Once I get my Androdai production churning away, those will be quite useful. It costs 10 gems, though. Yeah, go ahead and do it. Forge the Rune Smasher. Rafflecopter is here. Are there any good enchantment spells Rafflecopter can cast? Rafflecopter could cast Reanimation. That would be sort of hilarious. 6 death gems. It only costs 2 gems. Sadly, I'm not Ulm. It's not super efficient for me. And I can't cast Vile Water underwater, which is sad. We'll just wait. All your troops are belong to us is sitting here researching. Everybody else is researching. Everything's going fine. Like, I don't really need to worry about it. Still hunting for fire randoms. Not finding any just yet. And I've got a couple places still churning out slave mages. Let's swap you over to slave mages. And I don't really need to be recruiting any troops right now, so I'm not going to. Chnud is still casting Dark Knowledge and not finding anything really, which is so sad. But he'll just keep casting it until he runs out of places to cast it, and then we will move him, and he'll start casting it in other places. And of course, if I can take Rothchimbite, that will get me 2 extra death gems per turn. So, this army will take 2 turns to break down the walls of Fomoria, as I mentioned before, because I've got 209 siege strength there, 285 there. So 2 turns will crack the fortress, and then I'm hoping that I'll be able to hit him with the Foul Vapors and wipe out his troops without really having to fight in the way he wants me to fight. Because, of course, my army is largely chaff. And his elves will beat my chaff if we just kind of fight. But his elves won't necessarily beat just being poisoned to death. through their defenses. So if I can drop my poison wards, poison everybody to death, the fight will hopefully take a while. The big downside here will be him summoning air elementals, which his Fomorian kings can do. In fact, he might be able to drop Storm, get Storm power off, and have all his Firbolg druids summon air elementals as well. If he does that, then I might suffer, just because the air elementals will be able to trample me very efficiently, but I have the attack density to kill air elementals pretty quickly, even though my weapons aren't magical. So I should be able to tolerate it. I think with this many chaff, I think I can just pound my way through. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. And so over here, we're just researching and casting spells and stuff and getting ready to attack Fomoria. And yeah, strategically on land, it looks to me like the major players are Helheim and Agartha. Tianchi is pretty small, and Tianchi also has people like right up in their grill. Pangaea is becoming a big player, especially since they are also attacking Niefelheim. So Niefelheim is not long for this world. Pangaea is going to eat them. Pangaea has already eaten much of former Vanheim, and they are now besieging Vanheim, which Niefelheim currently controls. Yeah, I think it's going to end up being Pangaea, Agartha, and Helheim, primarily on land. Rus is kind of backed into nothing much. Ulm is here and relevant, but not super powerful. That's the Throne of the Moon, which would be a great throne for me to take, incidentally. That's the Throne of the Stars and Mount Frost, which lets you free spawn winter wolves. Great little site. Could be a player. Could be a contender, and I'll be interested to see what happens with Caelum, because Caelum, as I mentioned, has been fighting on, it looks like, a couple of fronts for some time. I'm not sure how well they're doing. It looks like they're kind of trading with I mean, they're under siege here, but they've also penetrated territory on 2 places down here. And especially if they can get either Rus or Helheim to come in with them, they may be able to finish off, because honestly does not have a lot of territory right now, and what they do have is a little bit split up. So, also Arco has that tiny little pond for no reason that I can see. Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see what comes of this. In the next couple of turns, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to teleport a couple of Mind Lords into the Sea of Rond and spam water elementals to take it. And so I'll secure that, and then I may also do the same with the Cerulean Sea, just to have it. The downside would be then I'd have to build a lab in order to get the Mind Lords back out, which wouldn't be great. And nah, I'm gonna leave that, because there's no point in taking it when I'm totally surrounded by Helheim there. Taking this, there's multiple nations surrounding it, which kind of, in a way, gives me an odd kind of protection, because they don't really want to expose themselves necessarily, or bring me in on the side of their opponents or whatever. Also, it's visually connected to the lake, which doesn't in game terms make a difference, but psychologically makes a little bit of a difference. In that I think my argument that, hey, it's water, it belongs to me, it's connected to my lake, will have greater weight with people than one would think it should, than it should, really. And yeah, we'll just kind of see how it goes. I feel good about the attack on Fomoria. I'm always cautious about that, because I often feel good about something right before a total disaster. And this is kind of a brittle army construction. But if my one cool trick, if the Foul Vapors works out, and it can kill off, because I mean, like, the Foul Vapors can kill off everything Fomoria has except for the skeletons, unless I've totally screwed the pooch and forgotten that, yeah, they're not poison resistant. You would think that Fomorian giants would be poison resistant, but they're not. So yeah, I mean, they are giants, so the poison will take a long time to kill them, but the poison will not take long to kill Nemedian sorceresses, it will not take long to kill Nemedian warriors, or Firbolg. So, or Firbolg druids for that matter. So as long as I can do that and get it active and have my poison word up, I should win the battle. If he's not expecting the Foul Vapors. If he is expecting the Foul Vapors and has a counter, then it'll be tougher. But the ideal end state of that battle is the Foul Vapors kills everything on the field that is Firbolg or Nemedian. And then all that's left is the skeletons they've summoned, and my chaff can fight their way through skeletons. So here's hoping. We'll see how it ends up. In any case, that is the turn, and I'll see you all in turn 33.